everybody? My name is Chris Exusion. You can find me at Chris Ebom on Twitter, and it's Wyndham Championship Week. We are at the regular season finale of the PGA Championship, a long season, but a great season. If you missed it, I had my first round plays videos you could see on riseandfirebets.com and also my YouTube page on top of that. But now it's Sell Me Fire, having always somebody on here. We've been getting winners. Everything's been good on the Sell Me Fire this year. We've been getting a lot of good picks, plays, insight. I couldn't be any happier with it. Getting people on. I got a returning guest, great guy. He's involved in everything, including golf and the football season coming up. He's always trending in the AM. He's a good buddy of mine. I'm bringing him on right now. It's Phil Stiefel, Beard Knowledge. How you doing, man? Fairway to heaven.
Absolutely doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on. I guess I didn't ruin your whole entire thing that badly by having me on the first time. You welcomed me back with a second time. I'm super excited about that.
Absolutely, man. You're the first return guest, so that's always exciting.
What an honor right there.
Absolutely. Not many people can say that. So, I mean, I was talking about it. It's been really good, the whole Sell Me Fire thing. It's been absolutely fantastic. I had Matt Miller on last week for draws and fades. He got really close with Caleb Taryn for top 10. I think he ended up finishing around 13th or wherever it might be, but he's still a winner this week. It's pretty crazy. I'm going to show you something here. I don't know if you saw this or not, but he definitely did win this weekend. Take a look at this.
I did see it.
And I take credit for this just a little bit because I mean, he was on the show and then he gets to meet Paulina. And I mean, that's just a beautiful thing, over at Bedminster Trump, it's things are going well for the show. And I'm definitely taking some credit regardless. Matt was great. So you got to toot your horn when you can, especially in golf betting. So him getting a picture of Paulina is definitely a win for the brand. Absolutely love it. So that's why I love right there. So nothing can go wrong. Everything's great. I get to talk with my people. Everything's fun. And, I have you on here once again. I'm looking for a play. My card's almost done, but you know me. I'm always trying to find a winner, whether it's outright, top 20, missed cuts, a DFS play, anything. That's the beauty of it all. Like, what do you got for me this week, Phil? What can you sell me this week? Sell me some fire.
One of the guys I love the most, and I worked a lot at my pizza shop this past weekend, a lot. So I had golf on all weekend long and uninterrupted. And I got to see a lot of Scott Stallings this past weekend. And I really love Scott Stallings, just how he's playing. First of all, last 3 events, 10th, 4th, and an 8th place. He's in my model this week, and I'm a big model guy. Some people are, some aren't. He literally 6 on approach the last 36 rounds, 8th in a proximity of 150 to 175, which I don't know if you know this, but 30+% of second shots come in that range at this course. He's 20th in the par 4, 400 to 450, which 8 par 4s are in that range. Super important. And he's 23rd in putting. And that doesn't even count the 12th on ball striking, 22nd birdies or better. So he's got the whole package. So when I was going through the odds, I was going through the pricing for DFS, all those things, the ownership projections, everything. Scott Stallings is my favorite overall play this week. I've been starting something where I say I go all in on a player, a guy that I'm going to click the most times. I'm going to make sure an outright is placed on him. I might find a good top 10 number on him. Scott Stallings is my guy this week. I absolutely love him this week. I don't know what your thoughts are about him this week.
The funny thing about Stallings is he's been kind of the darling of late. I mean, his numbers have been outrageous. I mean, he hasn't been able to do anything wrong. I mean, like you said, I'm looking at what he's done just his last 3 events. He's been in all the green. Like, he's been absolutely amazing. I know there's the John Deere that wasn't a big event, and like the Travelers was fine, and the Rocket Mortgage.
This isn't a big event either. So
that's true, and that's a valid point. And you know what? Because Scott Stallings, I don't know. I always have that in the back of my head from like the last few years and everything. Like, oh, Scott Stallings, he's just like a filler and everything. But he hasn't been a filler of late. He's been a force, and I got to break out of that mold. And he is honestly was not on any of my betting cards. Determining what his ownership projections are and everything. Yeah, you can find my DFS lineups and everything. I'm still working on that as of right now, but the betting card, I got nothing on him. What is the one play that you feel like that it's got to hit? Like,
Well,
this,
and this thing,
this is the
I
one
want,
play
because
that's got hit for
you're
Scott
the
Stallings.
betting expert, and I want you almost to sell me on this. Like, I'm not sure if you saw, there's that statistic that came out about, all the guys this year, all the tournaments, when there's top 20 guys in the field, very few times has anybody won outside the top 20 when there's top 20 players in it. And everything I read this week, everything I study, is course history matters so much this week. And Webb Simpson. And the question is what to do with Webb Simpson. The last 5 years alone, he's never missed a cut here. Hell, he named his daughter Wyndham after this tournament. He loves this event. In the last 5 years, he hasn't finished outside the top 10. DraftKings got him 2-1 to finish in the top 10. And I feel like I should just cancel all my bets and put all my money on him finishing in the top 10, because it feels like it's an absolute for sure him finishing in top. I know 2-1 isn't great return on your money, but if you can put enough money on it, how do you not bet as much money as you can on Webb Simpson this week?
Yeah, it looks pretty easy, right?
It does. I mean, he's got terrible form overall lately. So this is Wyndham.
So this is the thing I've been trying to figure out with golfers, the whole course form versus recent form thing. I feel like personally, from what I've acknowledged, I haven't kept stats of it. I haven't, logged anything, but just from my brain and, my beer and, just figuring everything out, I feel like course history tends to outweigh recent form. And I feel like that's kind of like, in my eyes, I always like recent form better than course history, but I feel like from what I've seen and observed, I feel like course history is really good to jump on. I personally love Webb Simpson first round. That's my favorite play. I mean, if I could pull back the curtain here a little bit. Let me see something real quick, since I got to show something real quick here. So, all right, here we go. So I got Stallings up anyway because I was checking them out for the most part, but. I'm on rickrungood.com, great site, one of my favorites. So like when I'm looking at this over here for like the Holy Grail, which is pretty much, you can put in whatever you want and everything. So if I'm looking at first round play right here, so we're on first round just in general, because he's got the stigma of playing really bad, right? Webb Simpson, of late, he's had that recent bad form. So if I'm putting him in right now for just first round play, because that's kind of what I'm looking at, and I think it's getting overlooked for the most part. If you look at what he has done of late, if you come down over to here, he's been pretty good. Look at all his green that's on the first round, and this isn't even with his bad form. This is with his bad form after the first round. This is all green right here just for first round. Now he's at a course that can simply, he absolutely murders. And this is honestly, Webb Simpson is the ultimate course horse at Wyndham, probably more than anybody on tour, which I can get where you're coming from with the top 10 with him. So I mean, I don't hate it. I'm personally only playing him first round because I don't want to go through the drag of him, because I don't get to take so much.
You might have sold me on the first round. I love Rick Run Good's site. I think this is the Holy Grail, is one of the best things out there. And seeing all that green, you might have convinced me, instead of going with a big bet on top 10 for Webb Simpson, I might break my mold and go with I haven't bet a first round leader in a long time because I have really bad luck with it. So you might have just sold me on Webb Simpson there to pair with my Scott Stallings outright win right there.
All right. So since I sold you on something, which I didn't think I was going to sell you on, but so what do you sell me on with Scott Stallings? I need one play. What do you got for me?
For Scott Stallings? I mean, I only have the one play right now, and that's the outright at 70-1.
Okay. So
that is what it is. That's my play. Like I said, my all in this week is Scott Stallings. He's 70-1. He's actually dropped. I think he's now at 55 or 60-1. So enough people are playing him where that line's coming down. Again, he's under 13% projection owned. He's going to be in 50 to 60% of my DFS lineups. I like Scott Stallings' ceiling this week, and I think his floor is high enough where he's not going to miss. You don't have to worry about a missed cut or anything like that. Scott Stallings won on the PGA Tour before. It's not like Will Zalatoris, who's never won before. Scott Stallings has won on the PGA Tour before. Scott Stallings, if somebody's going to break the mold of an event with a top 20 player outside the top 20 winning, this week it's Scott Stallings. I mean, I got 5 outrights, but I'm loving my Scott Stallings this week. Okay.
So if you had to choose Stallings outright or Stallings DFS, what are we playing?
Oh, DFS all the way.
Okay.
I mean, because it's just so hard to hit outrights. I've hit 6 already this year, the chances of me hitting a 7th outright this year is, pretty hard. But it's between Scott Stallings right now this week and where's my thing? And Adam Svensson is my best DFS plays. Adam Svensson's number 1 in my model this week. Scott Stallings is 9th in my model this week. The 7K range in DraftKings this week, I just think is loaded. There's 4 guys in the top half of the 7K that fit into the top 11 of my model this week. So, there's a lot of really great value in that 7K. And Scott Stallings, I mean, it's a fantastic DFS play this week. He is not going to miss the cut. At worst, he's going to finish in the around 20th place this week, in my opinion.
Okay.
Odds are probably top 10. So getting a 70-1 on him to win outright, putting him in 10, 12, 14 of my lineups, it's a slam dunk play.
All right. So I think what you're telling me here, you're loving the outright, but I believe you're selling me on him for DFS. And
Absolutely.
and that's what I kind of need, because I'm kind of looking at him. You got to take some chalk at the end of the day. It looks like he's kind of in the 7K chalk, which is okay. It's not the end of the world. You can kind of pivot with everything else for the most part. But I'm gonna take more of a look on him.
I'm gonna tell you something about chalk and pivoting and stuff. And I had a philosophy this year, and I kept to my philosophy. And I know the show is supposed to be short, but I always said this year, don't pivot just to pivot. If you like a play, stick with it. Yeah. And for the first 75-80% of this year, I stuck to that, and I turned a big profit every single week. Just because someone said, "Oh, pivot off that guy to the guy that's 8% instead of going with the guy 16%." No, if the 16% guy is the guy you like, stick to it. In the last 3 weeks, I started going away from that, and all of a sudden my profit margins have gone down. The last 2 weeks, I haven't even broken even. So stick to so everybody's so stuck on that word pivot, and people pivot just to say that they've pivoted.
Right.
Scott Stallings is a great play this week. You don't pivot off of him just because someone's 5% less owned than Scott Stallings.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. If you really like somebody, just stick with him regardless of the ownership, because you think he's going to do well, so you're going to need him to score regardless. And honestly, if he even falls in that 15 to 12% or whatever, he doesn't necessarily have to blow the doors off the covers. It's not like he's like a 40% like Cantlay last week, where you need him to finish top 5. So
one final point to drive that theory home. I saw from Reed Fowler, great Twitter follow for DFS and golf and all. He said that the last 3 years, Webb Simpson has been north of 30% in the Wyndham Championship, ownership-wise in DFS. Yeah. He has been in every single GPP winning lineup the last 3 years.
And he
was over 30%. So people didn't pivot off of him. The ones that stuck with the high ownership won the GPPs.
And he won't even be remotely close to that, so you won't even have to worry about it. So
exactly. You don't have to pivot to just pivot. Stick to the guys that you think are going to perform the best.
I like it. I like you saw me some fire on Scott Stallings. I appreciate it, man. Phil Stiefel, beard, acknowledge. Yeah, you like that? That's good. Fairway to Heaven, trending in the AM. Football's coming up. He's going to be busy all year round. What else you doing this week at all? You're probably
just DSM Media. Just make sure you check out Trending in the AM and DSM Media. The best and the first daily morning YouTube show. There's other network copying the YouTube morning show now, but we're the first and we're the best. I do it every morning. And we got Phillies tomorrow. We got to break down this trade deadline, all the moves the Phillies made, Eagles training camp. We're going to have a jam-packed show tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m., DSM Media, Trending in the AM.
All right, man. That'll do for Sell Me Fire, man. Let's go make that money.